right now, the One Ocean crew is in Nome, and this is our 11th day in Nome, and we're waiting for the ice to melt and move up north so that we can leave here and head up there to continue our circumnavigation of North and South America. And we have Grace here with us on the Zoom, and she's hoping to join us in Barrow, which is actually now Utqiagvik, Alaska. So we're really excited to get up there and pick up Grace and keep this journey going. But right now, we are with Harry Stern from UW, and we're going to look at the ice with him because Harry is the ice expert. So, Harry, what is the ice looking like? What is it telling us, and when can we leave?
Yeah. Well,
No pressure,
so
Harry.
yeah, so you can see the satellite picture, correct? And can you see my cursor? It's a
Yes.
arrow
Yes.
Yeah.
moving
Oh, that all
around.
melted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nome is down here where the arrow is. And so all this kind of white stuff up here, this is sea ice. And the edge is sort of in black here. And the cursor now is about where Utqiagvik is. And you can see that it looks from the satellite image like you cannot get there by water. It's blocked by sea ice. And that's what it looks like in the satellite picture. Um, the Bering Strait looks clear. Cape Lisburne, okay. Icy Cape looks okay, but if you go a little farther north, you'll hit sea ice.
Is that about by Wainwright where your cursor is?
Yeah, I think it is about Wainwright, and I can show you the National Ice Center chart as well, if I
So
can.
Harry, while that's up,
Yeah.
so it gets solid at about Wainwright, and it looks to me like there's a lead open just at about before Tuck, after
Yeah,
maybe by Herschel Island or something.
Because there.
yeah, that's right. Let me see if I can
Quick
zoom
question,
a little
Harry.
bit. Hmm.
On this photograph, I see, it looks pretty thick there by Barrow, but right behind it all, I mean, it looks like it's really melting up there. And
Yeah,
so,
Is that significant?
yeah, will that help move that then a little quicker?
I think it is. It is definitely melting out,
I mean,
and
that's quite a dramatic change from the last week's picture of how much is melted out.
yeah, it's melting out and moving north. But one of the dangers is the ice moves in response to the wind. That's one of the factors that moves the ice around. And so if you were to go up there and just be in a narrow shore lead with the ice just to your north, and then suddenly the wind shifts and starts blowing from the north, you could be in trouble. So you want to make sure that you give yourself, more than just a narrow little channel of open water between land and ice.
You know,
The eastern part of it looks really
the
good.
eastern part looks pretty darn good, I think, at least to me. So is there what's the correlation between wind strength and speed of ice pack?
I was going to ask something.
Yeah, I think it's about 2%. I think the rule of thumb, I think the ice moves about 2% of the speed of the wind, something like that. But I mean, with a steady wind, the ice can move tens of
Sure.
kilometers over a couple of days. So
So, Harry, it's my understanding there's not much like current up there, so it's really more dependent on wind, correct?
I think it is more dependent on wind. There are currents. Sure, there's a coastal current that flows up through Bering Strait, I believe, along the coast of Alaska, but probably the wind is the more dominant factor, I would guess.
Oh,
But yeah, as you can see, it is opening up further to the east along the shore of Alaska and along Canada. South of Banks Island is open, but there's still, little plugs of ice right here. What's this, Dolphin and Union Strait, maybe?
yeah, I think so.
Some ice there. And then certainly after Cambridge Bay, farther north up there, there's still ice there. So, you would not be able to make it to Bellot Strait right now, this time of year. But, by later in August or September, it should be melted out.
Can I ask does it look so black in that area in by Bellot Strait, like all
Oh,
the ice?
Black is, in this particular strange ice concentration scale, the black is around 40, 50% ice concentration. So it just means that it's melting out and it's not solid pack ice. That's what
And
the black is.
and to clarify, just for the educational video, ice concentration is the amount of ice you'll find in the water floating, correct?
Yeah, so the satellite imagery works by dividing up the Earth into grid cells. And this particular image, the grid cells are about 6 kilometers on a side. And so the ice concentration just means like what fraction of a grid contains ice. So if you look at a 6 by 6 kilometer piece of the Earth and the ice concentration is 50%, then half of that 6 by 6 kilometer square is filled with ice.
And these satellites, Harry, are these GOES or is that old news? Are these GOES satellite or
No, that's not the weather satellite. This comes from it's called the microwave scanning radiometer 2. It's a passive microwave instrument, so it's not an active sensor. It's passive in that it detects emissions coming from the surface of the Earth. And the emission from ice is different than the emission from water. And so there's an algorithm then that translates that into this graphic that shows ice and water. But it's based on the emissions in the microwave range from the surface of the Earth.
Could you repeat what that's called?
It's a passive microwave instrument, and it's on a satellite called the Advanced Microwave Scanning Radiometer number 2. I believe it's a Japanese satellite, and actually the follow-on AMSR number 3 just launched a few days ago. So that's good news because the data will continue.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So this is not with talking about too many other things, but how long have you been looking at images like this, Harry?
Oh, for my whole career, really, more than 30 years. The data goes back to about 1979. And so, no, I wasn't in the business in 79, but I got into it in about 1988. So, yeah, since 1988, we've been looking at this kind of satellite data and tracking what the ice is doing.
So what changes have you seen throughout the years? Like, is the ice melting pretty similar to how it has in the past? Is it different this year? Like, what trends are you seeing?
Yeah, so basically the trends are, first of all, there's an annual cycle of growth in the winter and melt in the summer. So you can imagine a sort of pulsing where winter, the ice grows out, summer, it shrinks, winter, summer, like this. And, back in the 80s and 90s, when I first started in this business, we thought that the Arctic was pretty much in a kind of a steady state in that sense, winter, summer. But then later in the 90s, we started noticing a trend where in the summer, the shrinkage was getting more and more, like there was less and less ice in the summer. And then all through the 2000s, we noticed that same trend continuing. So we've seen that the summer ice extent, which is when the ice is at a minimum, is going down, down, down. Now, there is a lot of interannual variability, by which I mean differences from year to year, but in general, the summer sea ice has been shrinking and shrinking more and more every year. It melts back in the spring earlier and earlier. That's what I meant to say. We lose the ice earlier than we used to, and then we don't gain it back in the fall until later than we used to. So the ice season is getting shorter. The ice-free season is getting longer. And
go ahead.
Yeah, from where we're at, Harry, compared to the last 10 or some years, I think Dave and Mark, like where we're at right now is not untypical, right? Just waiting a little bit. We're not behind the curve or anything for what we want to do.
I think it's within the range of the interannual variability. So I just looked up where Ocean Watch was back in 2009, and according to what I have here, Ocean Watch passed through Bering Strait on July 8th, and on about July 12th, Ocean Watch was off of Icy Cape, which is kind of near where the ice edge is now. And then July 13th, Ocean Watch was in Utqiagvik. So now we're at July 14th today, and you would not be able to make it up that far, but almost. So, you
But
know,
I also think they ended up waiting. I think Dave, your recollection, you guys waited there
And there was-
instead,
We
right?
waited a lot of places on the way up, but we waited
Yeah.
in Barrow for, I don't know, 10 days or 12
Sure.
days or something like that.
And I remember the story of hanging out on the boat in Barrow, and somebody yelled from the shore, your boat will be crushed in 10 hours because the ice was starting to move in from the north. So I think you put into Elson Lagoon for shelter there.
Not quite, but we
We
went
went
around the corner to where the ice couldn't crush us. So
Yeah,
we
we
waited there.
and waited on board the boat, and then went back down. So we're not. So your advice to over anxious people in Nome might be we just
Wait.
give it a few. We're in a safe
Yeah.
spot right now.
Yeah, I would say wait.
I
Yeah.
have a question, Harry. So it
Mhm.
looks like all next week we have an easterly wind.
Mhm.
And so I'm gathering, well, the ice will get a little softer. And with an eastern wind, though, I'm feeling like it will push that toward us on our passage. Is that correct? Or do you have any idea? Or
Well, if it pushes the ice to the east, I mean, so one factor is how warm is the ocean. So one way that the ice can disappear is if there's a patch of warm water and the wind blows the ice over that warm water, then the ice will melt. So that would be good for you. But if the water, isn't warm, then it won't make a difference in terms of the ice melt if the wind blows the ice, over there. So I don't, I'm not looking at sea surface temperature right now. I could, try to find sea surface temperature information. Um, but so the wind, could possibly help you or hurt you if it's from the east.
So one of the just anecdotal thing, well, not anecdotal, because what's happening in Nome, there are enormous piles of ballast rock that are being shipped to Barrow because they're now going to put a breakwater in Barrow.
Okay.
On that edge where we sort of parked Ocean Watch last time, the community's falling into the ocean. So they've decided now, probably 10 years too late, to shore up that area.
And so what's their plan? When are they going to go?
Well, they've got barges that are going up
the 26th of July, they're thinking.
26th of,
Okay.
yeah. They
Well,
think
that's a pretty good bet. That's a pretty good bet. That's still 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks away.
yeah, we may just attach a tow line to a barge. Who knows?
Mhm.
But, well, this
Well,
is,
then-
this,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the National Ice Center they put out a 48-hour forecast for the ice edge. And I can bring that up. You can also find it on the website. Let's see if I can.
do you have instruments up here, Harry, that contribute to that, or who does?
No, I think the Ice Center just looks at satellite data and maybe aircraft data.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are you seeing a different picture on your screen now?
No, same one.
Same chart.
Okay, let's see.
Yes. 48-hour edge forecast.
Oh, there you go.
RT.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So our internet is a little shaky right now.
Yeah, we saw this. I pulled this
Okay.
up. Well, maybe we didn't show it. Yeah.
So you see green Alaska on the right.
Yeah.
Land is green, and then sort of the dense pack ice is pink in the north, in the top of the image, and then the red line, I believe, is the 48-hour forecast for the ice edge. So pretty much, I think it hits the coast right around Wainwright, just north of Icy Cape.
Yeah, it
is
looks
where
like
the
it.
ice edge. Yeah. So pretty much corroborates what the satellite image was showing, that you would hit ice if you went up to, try to go past 70 degrees north.
It looks like it's about 50 miles north of where it was yesterday for their prediction.
Oh, well, that's good. That's terrific. Yeah. So
you can really see how maybe that's all more dependent on ocean current than sunshine.
Yeah, that could be. There is, because there is that northward flowing current along the coast of Alaska. It could be bringing warm water up there.
Yeah.
But so there's an interesting historical detail there about Icy Cape, which is about where the ice edge is now. That Icy Cape was the farthest north that Captain Cook was able to go in 1778 when he was looking for the Northwest Passage. And he was the first person, that was the first expedition to search for the Northwest Passage from the Pacific side. So he went up there in 1778 and he got turned around at Icy Cape in August. So it was August 18th, a full month later than right now. So
Wow.
So compared to Captain Cook's day, the has receded a month earlier than when Cook was there in 1778.
So I haven't shared the Captain Cook articles that you gave me with them yet. So
Okay.
I was waiting until we got further north and all.
Yeah, sure.
So it was, and it was, I just read, I thought it was in the early 1900s, but it was 1870, according to Willie DeRousse's book, that the East Coast whaling fleet met its demise. All ships sunk, and crews.
71. Yeah.
71. Yeah.
I can a little snippet that I wrote about that from Boxtos. John Boxtos wrote a book called Whales, Ice, and Men.
Yeah.
Where he described all that kind of stuff. And so Boxtos refers to the 1870s as the disastrous decade. And he calls the coast from Icy Cape to Point Barrow is a 150-mile ship's graveyard. And so in 1871, in September, there was a whole fleet of whaling ships waiting for the ice to recede so they could get up to Barrow and around the corner and continue hunting whales. And on September 12th, or no, earlier in September, the ice shifted and the wind shifted and brought the ice on shore and trapped 30-some whaling ships. And after a few days, the captains all had a conference and they decided that they were not going to get out and they had to abandon ship. And there were 7 ships farther south that were not caught in the ice. So 1,200 whalers got into their little lifeboats and rowed for several days southward and piled into the 7 ships that were still ice-free, and they managed to escape. Not a single life was lost, but they lost 30-some ships and 1,200 men evacuated.
Wow.
About that.
How many could we hold in that?
No.
So, I'm sorry. So just like for some of the climate naysayers, they could say things like, well, look, the ice hasn't changed all that much compared to back then, right? But it has overall, right? You've seen it change dramatically.
It has, and actually the change has not been like linear over time. So basically, like I said, there's a lot of variation from one year to the next. And so I looked at data all through the 1800s from whaling records and from other records, other expeditions that had gone up there, and all satellite data from the 1900s and 2000s. And what I concluded is that basically the ice edge was more or less in Cook's day where you would have found it in the 1980s and 1990s. And it was not until about the mid-90s that it really started to recede farther north in the summertime. So in August of 1778 or August of 1980, you might have found the ice edge in roughly the same place. But by the year 2000 and the 2010s, it was way farther north in August.
Wow.
So the change has come in the last 30 years, I would say. Yeah.
Well, that's a fabulous example, but it also the demise of the whaling fleet in 1871. That was the end of whaling pretty much in the north, according to Boxtos, wasn't it?
It was near the end. Well, I mean, he did say that. Let's see, by 1876, the whaling fleet had dwindled to 20 ships. the result of overfishing combined with the rise of the petroleum industry, which supplanted the demand for whale oil. So they were, it was partly the loss of ships, partly the depletion of whales, and partly the replacement of the need for whale oil.
Well, this is fascinating.
Yeah, it's been really fascinating, Harry. I appreciate it. And the new satellite imagery was pretty interesting to see, and just to see how it was melting, and I'm hoping that it does melt enough that it brings it off the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Harry, I have a question. Is there a way we get access to the satellite imagery that
Yeah. Sure. It's
is that on one of our links or that
Yeah,
you sent me or?
Yeah, I can resend it, but I sent it. It's from a website. It's a German website. So yeah, it's a real international effort. Like the satellite is Japanese, but the data get processed in Germany and then they post it. So I think it's University of Bremen, but I can send you the link.
That'd be great.
Awesome.
Yep, thanks, Harry.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wish
And we
you were,
could,
wish you were
yeah,
here.
yeah, that would be really cool. I would like to get a photograph of Icy Cape. When you pass Icy Cape, take a picture.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
that's the deal. We
Thank you
really,
so
really
much.
appreciate this. It's been very informative, and I think bottom line comes down to just be patient.
We're
Yeah.
not meeting tomorrow.
That's,
Yeah.
I can send you some quotes about being patient in the face of the ice. Yeah,
Please
I'll
do.
send
Please do. We need it.
Yeah.
I'll send you that. Yeah.
It'd make
Well,
good
happy
copy.
birthday again.
Thank
And
you. Appreciate it.
enjoy.
Harry, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for taking time to do this, Harry. Thank you. That's
Okay,
huge.
sure.
Thank
Okay.
All
you.
right. Good
I
luck.
All right.
appreciate you.
Take
Have a good
care.
night.
Have a good night.